So many times I hear and read about how they're afraid that the gods will be angry if they don't sacrifice this or that, or if they do something, they're going to incur the wrath and anger of the gods, and the gods won't like them or accept them anymore. I'm here to tell you that you cannot make the gods angry. So, if you want to know where I get my philosophy when it comes to the gods, it is from Sallustius's work of on the gods and the world. So Sallustius was a friend, we'll just say, without getting too complicated into his backstory, he was around the time of Emperor Julian, who was the last quote unquote pagan emperor who tried to bring back the gods into the worship of the Roman Empire. And Sallustius was a friend of his. And so Sallustius wrote a work that described to the non pagans, the non polytheists, what pagans and polytheists actually believed when it came to the gods. It was his defense of his beliefs. So that's where I get a lot of my philosophy when it comes to the gods, that the gods are good, that there is no such thing as an evil god. So, with that said, I'm going to read a couple of chapters from his work. You can find it online for free. I'm going to actually post the link to Sallustius on the Gods in the World in the description box of this video, so you can read the whole thing whenever you have time if you want to. So this is the more modern translation that makes it easier to read and understand. So I'm just going to read two little chapters that kind of go into how the gods are good and how what we do doesn't actually make them angry. And these are super short. So it says that on the first chapter, it says that those who wish to hear about the gods should have been well guided from childhood and not habituated to foolish beliefs. They should also be in disposition good and sensible, that they may properly attend to the teaching. They ought also know that to common conceptions. Common conceptions are those to which all men agree as soon as they are asked. For instance, that all gods and godhood in divine nature is good, free from passion, free from change. For whatever suffers change does so for the worse or better. If for the worse, it is made bad, and if for the better, it must have been bad to begin with. So the gods are unchanging, are always pure and good. The next chapter is actually really short and kind of goes more into it and what the gods are. So let's go ahead and read that real fast. It says, "Let the disciple be thus. Let the teachings be of the following sort. The essence of the gods never came into existence, for which always is never comes into existence, and that exists forever, which possesses primary force, and by nature suffers nothing. Neither do they consist of bodies, so the gods don't have physical bodies. For even in bodies the powers are incorporeal. Neither are they contained by space, for that is a property of bodies. Neither are they separated from the first cause, nor from each other, just as thoughts are not separated from the mind, nor acts of knowledge from the soul." So the gods are not a physical thing. They're spirit, and they don't inhabit space, because to inhabit a space like me in this room, you have to be physically in a body. So they are ever present. So they're gods that they also have always existed. So gods are good. They are not physically in a body, and they are eternal and have always existed. So I read that as an introduction to get to this point of how we don't make the gods angry when we do something that we think would be offensive to them. It's in chapter 14. It says that if anyone thinks the doctrine of the unchangeableness of the gods is reasonable and true, so if you think the gods are naturally good and not evil, and then wonders how it is that they rejoice in the good and reject the bad, that they're angry with the sinners or the ones that do something wrong, not actually like Christian sinners, and that they're angry with the sinners and become happy when they're appeased, the answer is as follows: gods do not rejoice. For that which rejoices also grieves. Nor are they angered, for to be angered is a passion. Nor are they appeased by gifts. If they were, they would be conquered by pleasure. So it's impious to suppose that the divine is affected for good or ill by us human and our human things. The gods are always good, and always doing good and never harm, being always in the same state and likeness themselves. The truth is simply this, that when we are good, we are joined to the gods. By our likeness to live according to virtue, we cling to the gods. When we become evil and do bad things, we make the gods our enemies, not because they are angered against us, but because our sins or the bad things we do prevent the light of the gods from shining upon us, and puts us in communion with the spirits of punishment. And if by prayers and sacrifice we find forgiveness of sins, again, to get back more in tune with the gods, not actually being forgiven as a Christian view of it. We do not appease or change the gods, but what we do, and by tuning ourselves towards the divine, we heal our badness, so enjoying the goodness of the gods again. To say the gods turn away from evil is like saying the sun hides himself from the blind. So when we do good things, we just get back in the right mindset to join the gods. We don't actually offend the gods by the things we do. So we have to make sure we always get into the right mindset to get back into the flow of where the gods are. That's why whenever something bad happens, or if we do something bad, we don't feel the gods. We think the gods are angry at us when they're not. The gods cannot be angered, according to Sallustius, which is the point of view from someone that honored and worshipped the gods back during the Roman times. Like I said, he was a friend of Emperor Julian. So if you want to get a view or taste of his point of view during the times when people were actually actively worshiping the gods, that's how that he at least saw it. And that's where I get a lot of my philosophy. So when I say that you can't make the gods angry, the gods are not mad at you, despite people saying that of all different kinds of paths. If you're Hellenic Polytheists and you follow a similar belief, then you see it as the gods can't get angry. It's just that whenever we do something bad, we just kind of we step to the side and are not in the same frequency, I guess you could say, as the gods are. But when we do good and try to be good, we get back into the good, which is where the gods are, and which is why we can start feeling them. So it's nothing to do with, I did something wrong, so Goddess Hera is not hearing me. That's not the way it works, according to the words of Sallustius. So something to think about. So don't ever think you offended the gods, because the gods cannot be offended. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys like this video. Hope it kind of gave you a peace of mind that the gods don't hate you, they're not mad at you. We just have to get back into being good to be able to experience them and enjoy them. All right, and I'll talk to you later, guys.